Well, hello there and welcome everyone to the Advisor's Edge podcast. I'm your host, Rob Jacoman, and I'm joined by my co-host, Chad Ramberg. Chad, how are we doing today?
Really, really good. Super excited to have John with us today.
That's amazing. So guys, we have an amazing show for you again today. We have John Sweigart, who is the CEO of 3E Ventures. I want to make sure I got that right. And here's the cool thing. John is an amazing guest who's going to talk to us about something that a previous podcast episode where we probably got, I would say, Chad, one of our best pulling podcast and the most interest we got was talking about Kaizen and lean process and all those things that you can do inside of your business to make it more lean, to make it more efficient, and to really get the results and outcomes that you're looking for through this process. And Chad, you delivered so much value. And guess what? Today we have a guest who is an expert in that and has an incredible process. And he's going to share some gold nuggets and some wisdom with us that most of you probably have never heard before. So we're delighted and honored to have John on our show today.
Yeah, good to be here. Thanks.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, John. Now, little background on John. I think he's the guy everybody should know about if you're building a business, but I don't know. That's just my humble opinion. He's the guy that I would say, I think we can call it decades now. I've known for a couple of decades if you span over it. We met, we were both, he was running a auto body shop, doing way better than I was. And I was ready to throw in the towel. And John came in, I think you were working with DuPont at the time. Right. Building an organization. Yeah. And he came in and he took all that stuff I learned in business school and said, kind of slapped me around a bit and said, use your brain. It's simpler than this. Let's do it the practical way and really change my whole perspective. So thank you, John, for that. He's the guy that if he didn't show me that, Box Professional probably wouldn't be here. So I just got a huge thank you for that, John. How are you doing?
I'm good. Yeah, good. Busy, but yeah, doing really well.
Good. And you have been since it was like 2010 or something like that, I think, when we first bumped into each other. And you've been doing all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
How would you characterize it? Now, and one of the most interesting, I suppose, is working with Tesla. And I think you're sitting in your Tesla there now.
Yeah.
And you built, I don't know, a couple of businesses, done a lot of work with a lot of different organizations. How would you, just to catch us up where you're at, what does it look like?
So, yeah, I kind of came up in the automotive biz and, kind of thought I knew everything. And back in 99, was introduced to this idea of maybe a different way to think about running a business. At the time, we had we were a collision repair network growing. We had some about 38 million in VC money kind of behind us. And they were kind of watching operations and watching how we worked. And we're just not impressed with the returns and the growth of the business. And so they put a guy on our board to sort of watch us and help us operationally. And he observed kind of how we worked for a little bit. And eventually just said, listen, there's an easier way to kind of do this. And if you'll give me a guy who will essentially shut his mouth and do what I tell him, I'd be glad to kind of show you these ideas. And so I was that guy, and he became my mentor and learned these ideas of really, you could call it Kaizen or Lean or the Toyota production system, but learned these under this guy and a guy named Fred Musoni. And Fred's really recognized as one of the very best in the world. Fred learned directly from Mr. Oba at Toyota as a tier one supplier in his past. So learned these concepts. We made just radical improvements in the collision repair industry and grew our network rapidly. And did that for a while, went on. We eventually sold that business, and I stayed in close touch with our founder, Fast forward a bunch of years, in between kind of re-engaging with our founder, I launched another collision repair business, grew that to 7 or 8 locations in Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, New Jersey, Delaware area. But got a call from John, who had started that business years ago and introduced me to it. And he took the role of president at Tesla. And this was in 2016. And he gave me a call and said, hey, we're screwed. Come help. And asked me to go to Norway that evening. I actually went the next night and wound up jumping into Tesla, and it was quite a disaster. Anybody that has a Tesla, and back in those days, and all we had was Model S, and just service was just upside down. And at that point when I went to Norway, we were 72 business days before you could get another appointment to get your car looked at, and it was so bad that the Norwegian government stepped in and told Tesla, fix this or get out of our country. Buy all your cars and get out. And we had 30 days to fix the problem. What was happening was people were so upset that they were just parking cars in the streets of Oslo and blocking roads and throwing keys inside the door and just saying, I don't care, fix my car. So kind of got thrust into that, wound up joining Tesla and was the director of our global service operation. So my role there was to build a new way, the operating model for how we would service these vehicles. So to build and disseminate that new way around the world and really fix it. Spent a long time in Norway, spent a long time in Asia, a lot of time in California, trying to grow this new kind of service idea of a much better way to do this stuff. That led to, in 2016, I was asked to take over end of line in the factory, and it was a disaster, and this was November of 16. At that point, I think Tesla was the largest shorted stock in the world. Everyone was against us. It was unbelievable experience to be right there in the factory. But I got in November of 16. They said, take over end of line at the factory. End of line at the factory is sort of the world's largest service center. We had 350 technicians. We had a car coming off the line, off general assembly, about every 90 seconds. And the average car had about 17 issues per vehicle. So, it was a lot. I tell people that understand the automotive service business, imagine being a service advisor, in a Ford dealership or something, and every 90 seconds you got a guy walking in that has 17 things wrong with his car, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So,
wow.
Massive undertaking, but we fixed it. We applied these ideas that I had learned through the Toyota production system, these sort of very common sense ideas, and applied it, and we solved the problem. And within it took 6 weeks or so before it was gone, and we made it go away. That problem was gone, and has not come back. From there, I was asked to be a part of Model 3 launch, and we had our very first VIN number 1 Model 3 kind of roll off the line, and it was a mountain of work. It took us essentially about 24 hours to build one, and we had to get to 7,000 in about 3 months. So one a day to about 1,000 a day. We had a target there to hit about 7,000 vehicles a week, which we did. And we did through this. So incredible experience, spending time there at Tesla, and incredible product, and just the world's largest startup. And I kind of think it remains that way. From there, I went on to Lyft, and as a director to head up their automotive service network. And we had the objective of building out a national network of collision and automotive service centers to support Lyft drivers, and really ultimately to support Lyft's goal at that point, which was really robo-taxi. And so, we had a level 5 autonomous hardware and software program. And we needed a way to upfit the vehicles, the fleet that we were about to purchase, and to also service all these self-driving cars going forward. So I did that for a few years, and left there in, 18, 19, and joined DVX, which is a venture studio based out of Palo Alto at that point. And we were there to sort of work where automotive and technology intersect, and launch 8 to 10 new businesses a year. I did that along with our founder back in the day that we had learned together, and the ex-president of Tesla, the ex-COO of Lyft. And so did that for a while. COVID hit. Everything was wacky, and we all remember that. I was on the East Coast here, and everybody else was sort of on the West Coast, which sucks because you may be up at 5:30 ready to go, but things don't start till 11, and and you're going till 8 or 9 or 10 o'clock at night, and so and it's hard to be effective when you're that far away. I'm not a believer in this remote work thing, and I'll say work. Did that for a bit, but in those experiences, I saw this sort of huge gap when it comes to electric and autonomous vehicles, and that no one was ready to take care of them, and so somebody had to do it. And I jumped in and started this business, Evolve, and with really the intention of helping the EV and autonomous vehicle owner maximize the capability of the asset. And so that's kind of a brief history. A lot of other things in there. I've done a lot of other consulting work for GE Locomotive and insurance industry and the construction industry. And, in all cases, it's really the same basic operational thinking or strategy, and the rest of it's irrelevant. So whether you're fixing cars or building them, building locomotives, selling insurance, processing insurance claims, restoring historic buildings, or building skyscrapers, doesn't matter. The subject matter is irrelevant. It's the operational strategy behind it that is identical. And you can plug it in anywhere.
Wait, we have to go deep on that. Like we can't just let that slide, because now I'm like coming out of my seat. So John, when you say everything else is irrelevant, and you're talking about on the operational side, and I want you to imagine for a minute that you're talking to a financial advisor, someone who's running an RIA right now. How did the principles that you just mentioned apply? How would they need to think differently and act differently on the operational side, and put all those things that you said really are not relevant? How do you help somebody think and act differently, and what's the first thing you would do?
Yeah. So here's what I'll tell you. Look, it's all the same. We in business, who pays the bills? It's the customer. That's it. And so all we're ever trying to do is serve the customer. And if you think about whatever it is that you do for a living, if you think about your business, and you could say operations, but it's the business. All we're doing is we're taking a look at the timeline from the moment the customer says, help me, whether that's a product or a service, and thank you. And between help me and thank you, whatever, who cares? Doesn't matter. It's tasks. Yeah, it's nice if you understand very well, those activities, but put that aside for a minute, right? So from help me to thank you, in between is a series of activities, tasks, events, all kinds of things, but there's a series of activities. All I'm suggesting is that you should look at those activities and try to reduce the timeline, right? So is that a week or a month or an hour, whatever, from help me to thank you? all we're trying to do is reduce the timeline from help me to, yep, that's exactly what I needed, by removing the junk, and you could call it the waste or the non-value added activities. So help me to thank you. Just remove the junk. And what this essentially becomes is addition through subtraction. We're not like, there's no magic trick here. You could, it's always great, by the way, to look at other examples, get outside your own industry so that you're not attached to that emotional status quo thing. And, look at making a sandwich and all of the crazy, like if you were to sit there with a video camera and record every single task from I need a peanut butter and jelly sandwich to putting that sandwich on a plate and ready to eat, and watch every single task, you would kind of be astounded at how much non-value work is there. Looking in the wrong cabinet for the jar, pulling out the wrong whatever. But there's probably thousands of individual, maybe that's not true, hundreds of individual tasks in that peanut butter and jelly sandwich, right? So when you think about those tasks from a business owner's perspective, you pay for every single task. And so as this timeline gets longer, you make less money. You like all that crap in between, you're just going, what is all this junk? And so if you learn to see the non-value added activities, understand what do you mean? Like everything we do, and as everybody when I've ever spoken to about this always has the same exact response, is like, everything we do, we need to do. Every single thing is required. And my response is always the same, is like, of course it is, because you don't know what you're doing. Like that's no excuse. Just because you do it, doesn't mean the customer should pay for it. And so this idea of those activities, which ones are stupid and we should no longer do? How do you answer that question? Ask the customer. Just ask them to go, hey, I'm gonna literally show you every single task that I have to do in order to take you, customer, from help me to thank you. I'm gonna show you every single one, and I'm gonna write down the exact amount of time it takes me to do that, and I'm gonna charge you for each one of those activities. And let's say it's reasonable. It's I'm gonna charge you $100 an hour for each, and even if it's a minute, I'll charge you appropriately. If you gave that list to your customer, would they look at that list of things and gladly pay you for each one of those things? That's the question, right? And imagine going to the restaurant and getting having bacon and eggs or something, and you get the bill that it comes to the table, and it doesn't say bacon and eggs, $7.99. It says parking lot maintenance cleanup fee, $11, salt and pepper rental, linen cleaning, sweeping the floor. Each one of those things, taking the trash out and turning on the lights, and each one of those things itemized you were paid for. The customer that you had paid for, the customer would say, I'm not paying for that. Like, that's none of my business. That's your business. If you don't know how to run your business, don't pass that to me. So and that's why I say, look, it's just an operational strategy. If you don't get this, don't bother. This will suck. But if you just look at your work and realize how bad you suck, it's an eye opener. Here, for example, we do a thing called a value stream map, which is a very detailed examination of every single task, what those tasks are, who performs them, what their yield is, how long it takes, does it work, on and on. When you examine in a value stream map those tasks, in my experience, less than 5% of the tasks um, are value-added activities, meaning 95% of what you do is waste and the customer doesn't want to pay for it. You're like, oh, that's, and it's true. And I can give you 1,000 examples, and you can go see them for yourself by that little experiment. Bill your customer next time for everything you had to do to process whatever it is you do for a living. And you'll find out quickly that 95%, that can be depressing. But if you have the right lens, it's amazing. Because what that simply means is if I can reduce just 5% of the junk, I can double my volume without not adding a thing, right? I don't have to spend a penny to double my throughput, my business's output. I don't have to spend 1 cent. In fact, I spend less money. This is the super interesting strategy here. It says, listen, if you just focus on quality, which is the opposite of waste, everyone wins, right? Because what is quality, for example? Quality is do the job exactly right on the first attempt. That's what quality means. Do the job exactly right on the first attempt. Don't do it wrong 7 times and finally satisfy the customer or achieve the desired outcome. That's not quality, that's junk. Do every move exactly right on the first attempt. Second part of quality. What do you mean exactly right? Who determines exactly right? Well, the guy that pays the bill, the customer. Yep. So it's that simple. Look at what it is that you do from the customer's perspective and figure out what they don't want to pay for. And yeah, maybe you can't get rid of it, but you can certainly reduce the amount of effort that it takes to sort of manufacture that garbage. And with each task that you remove from that value stream, your cost, there's a 1-to-1 correlation between your cost or profitability and the removal of that task. At the same time, you've improved quality for the customer. So you're making more money. The customer is getting more of what they asked for. And by the way, because you're removing tasks, you're reducing the timeline. And what I can tell you in the services industry, time is the number one thing to go, look, what does service mean? Service simply means I've got a problem. I need somebody to fix this problem. All of us, what's the number one priority with fixing a problem? Your toilet won't flush. My refrigerator stopped working. Number one, it's not how much, it's right now. Fix it right now. So in the services business, man, right. So think about that. We're going to go faster, we're going to cost less and improve quality all at the same time. There's no conflict there. There's this old saying, you want it cheap, you want it fast, or you want it good, pick any two. You want it good and cheap, it's not going to be fast. You want it fast and good, it's not going to be cheap, and whatever the third one is. That is a lie. That is a lie. If you have the right lens, you can recognize that's a lie, because if you improve any one of those, if you improve quality, from what I just said, if you improve quality, it's faster and it costs less. If you the only way to cost less is to make less mistakes, pay for less things. So that's why I say, look, what it is you do for a living, it's irrelevant. It doesn't matter. If you're good at it, great, like super. The opportunity for anyone, any entrepreneur, is to find a valuable problem to solve, right? Because it's the exchange of value. I have a problem. I need a product. And the exchange is, in this I have a problem scenario, The exchange is how much will you pay to solve that problem? It depends on how big the
Mhm.
problem is, and for the entrepreneur to be able to say, yeah, I can solve that problem better than anybody else can solve that problem. That's it. Like, you have what I want, the money. I have what you want, the solution. The end.
Yep.
It's that simple. So all you're doing is going problem, solution. I just need to find the smoothest way to get there. Start with any way. And, when you get into, let's say, the tactics of Kaizen, okay, now there's interesting work in there about, so how do you go about doing that? Okay, well,
Yeah.
tactically, there are operational tactics that'll show you really simply how to begin that process. So that's why I say the product itself is irrelevant. It's the thinking, and this is the Toyota thinking. This is what everybody covets. It's not hard.
Yeah. Well,
it is not
I got
hard.
to jump in here for a second,
Yeah.
because you could start to see why, and a lot of people may not know this about me. I grew up out in the sticks in Southern Oregon, and I like playing the obvious, the simple, and just tell me how it is. There's one reason I like John. He'll say, look, this is it. Just boil it down to this, which is fantastic. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw a little bit of curveball, and I might just aggravate Rob a little bit. But I'm really curious from John's perspective, because in the professional services space, everybody starts to think that it's all about marketing, right? And
Yeah.
it gets, I've been around and around, and I got a lot to learn in this space. So this is in the interest of learning, and I'm just curious what John says. If you say, hey, it's all about having the right marketing message and then everything else is going to come out good, that gets a little bit silly from my perspective, maybe because I've been trying to think more and more like Kaizen and Lean. But John, from your perspective, when somebody comes in and say, look, our business is great, we just got to get more clients and we got to tell them to get in the door. How does that sit?
It's a bit backwards. I mean, look, it's true. Certainly, you want to grow the business and you need to find those customers, but it's a matter of how are you going to go about that?
Yes,
and
exactly.
certainly marketing, like very clever marketing, can become a tool to get them in the door. But I promise you, if you suck, they're not coming back. And so people that spend
Correct.
a ton of money and focus on marketing but suck go out of business because marketing is expensive. And here's the opposite. We've never advertised. Tesla's famous for never advertising, but we don't advertise. I've never advertised. Why? Because our only focus is quality, the end. And knowing that in our business, problem solution, the best possible, if I can be the best possible person to take the customer from help me to thank you, I don't have to worry about it. It takes care of itself. If I said this the other day, it's like, and we'll see. If you want a chicken sandwich, where are you going for your chicken sandwich? Chad, where are you going?
Well, my wife loves Chick-fil-A, so that's probably where we're going to end up.
Right. I had somebody tell me Popeyes makes a good sandwich. I was like, oh, no.
Okay.
But yeah, it's like, of course it's Chick-fil-A. Why? Why Chick-fil-A? Because they've got a good sandwich. Like, they have a great sandwich. One, two, their service is awesome. And if you know anything about Chick-fil-A, and it's how they hire. When you start there's a 2-week training program at Chick-fil-A. 2 weeks for
That's
just
all.
a kid. Teaching you how to. They put a 2-week training program. And then people tell jokes about Chick-fil-A. My pleasure, right? If you ask for anything, my pleasure. They have developed an awesome experience. So the food is great. Of course, and so you don't need to advertise. Everybody just knows. Just that Chick-fil-A's got the best sandwich. It's the same thing. So of course you need more customers, but how do you plan on getting them? The expensive way, by spending a ton of money on marketing and then delivering shit. and losing them, or saying, no, let's just focus on quality. Do it better. Do it better. Do it better than anybody else.
And that's all we need for today.
Am I allowed to chime in?
Yeah, no, I'm kidding.
I would argue, because I'm a systems guy, so I would also argue that marketing has its own operational systems. So we built, like, for example, we have a marketing OS, which is a marketing operating system that's designed to optimize for that which we think is going to work the best for that specific client. What's going to be the most valuable? And for some clients, it might be, hey, we need to do webinars because we want to actually do some educational value-based marketing that's going to build that trust and build that relationship with somebody. And for others, Facebook ads might work really well, or there's any number of ways to optimize, but sometimes in businesses, they optimize for that which should not exist. In other words, you're doing the wrong things and you're not going to optimize for that. And yes, you're right. If you have a crappy product or if you have a crappy service, you can do all the marketing in the world, but it's just going to be like herding cattle. And then they're just going to go out the back, the back gate.
Yeah.
So John, I would say, because I think from a systems perspective, not all marketing is created equal, because there could be constraints in the marketing system. Like, why are you doing this? Why are you investing over here? You should be doing this because we have case studies to prove in your specific situation, this works better than anything else. And you need to optimize and test for this pathway. So I think that's my position on the marketing conversation, is that I think there's more to it and there's more layers to it than just, it's not as simple as and Chad, don't take this the wrong way. It's not as simple as the way you made it seem, because marketing has its own systems, just like operations, just like service, just like financial, all these marketing, content, sales. Do you have a sales process? Do you have a sales system that that you've tested and works time in and time out every single time?
I poked you. I poked the bear there with you.
You poked the bear, but it's great. It's a great dialogue to have, because what we're looking at is an entire system. A business is a system.
Sure. And
within the business has these other systems that all kind of, they're all interconnected with each other and they need to be optimized. And I think that's the quest that I'm always on, is when I'm looking at a business, what problem are we going to help you solve today? And then how can we get you the result and outcome that you're looking for in the shortest period of time, in the least expensive, or it doesn't even have to be, it could be, as long as the return's there, it might cost more up front, but if the returns are far greater than doing something else, then we're going to optimize for that thing. So I always think about it from a system standpoint. John, am I off base?
No, not at all. Look, here's the interesting thing. Help me. Thank you. Marketing. Help me. We need more customers. Thank you. Oh, we've got a bunch of customers showing up. What are the series of activities in between? Which one of those are absolutely stupid and junk and worthless? Who determines which, where the waste is, right? What is quality? Do that job to go marketing. We need customers. Here they are. Which of those activities are the ones the customer would be willing to pay for? Which of those activities add value from the customer's perspective? Well, who's your customer? Well, if you're in the marketing business, it may be the other business that's asking you to come help. Great. What do you need, man? I need 100 customers a day, and 80% are fully informed, and out of that 80%, 10% will say yes. Got it. Are there any other details? Collect that information. Examine the current set of activities between help me and thank you. Find the junk ones, throw them out, look at the others, and start to go, is there a least waste way? Hell, have we missed the boat completely? And we're just borrowing someone else's marketing process when it does not align at all with what our customer needs. for me, in building businesses, it always goes, it's product market fit first. Does this product serve the customer? So product market fit, proof of scalability. Does this sucker scale? Proof of economics. Does it make money? The go-to-market plan. All right, now that we know those things, what's the plan? How are we going to go to market? That's always the strategy. And every, at my time at DVX, as we were launching new businesses, we're always following that formula. Product market fit, proof of economics, proof of scalability, go-to-market plan. Take that go-to-market plan, and I'll tell you with Evolve, so what did we do? We looked at that and said, electric vehicle and self-driving vehicle owners, help me to thank you. Something's wrong with this machine. It's unclear what's wrong. I don't know who to trust. I don't know where I should go. I feel like I'm going to get ripped off, and on and on and on. So when we looked at the marketing perspective, we said, okay, let's look at the set of activities from help me to thank you. And one of the first things that we had to understand was, who are these people? Because we needed to know something about these customers. And after, it's not hard to figure out, especially these days with AI, hey, who are these people? And something like 80-something% of electric vehicle owners were early adopters. Okay, cool. Tell me about early adopters. I'm kind of one myself. Who are they? What makes them tick? And what we discovered was early adopters, there's a few common characteristics. Early adopters love, would you guys consider yourselves early adopters at all?
It depends.
I lean a little bit early, but broadly not as much as you, John.
I'm sure you have friends, right? But if you have an early adopter friend, here's the deal. Early adopters, what do they want? They want to sit in front of their friends and say amazing shit that you've never heard. They love to be able to talk technical things and blow people's minds. They want to know more than their friends, and they want to sit in those groups and spout out interesting facts about interesting things that no one's ever. That's what they do. They're early adopters, right?
Yeah.
That's who they are. So part two was, all right, how do they learn this crap? Where do these guys go to learn all these new and interesting things? And we looked and looked and looked, and the number one place they go is YouTube. They just go to YouTube and they go high voltage battery, error codes for whatever, supercharging. And they look and look and look, and they watch video after video after video, and they learn it all. And then they go to the party at their friend's house on a Friday night or something, and they start spouting out, hey, did you know superchargers, 2,000 amps and blah, blah. And they're like, wow, that's pretty wild. That's who they are, right?
Yep. And
so what did we do? And you can go on our YouTube channel and Evolve Auto Care on YouTube. We have some that have over 1 million views, like crazy. And you'll watch them all unrehearsed, no strategy, just walking through the shop and grabbing one of our employees who we gave the phone to and had some editing tools, and said, hey, I found something really cool, that crazy crap that I think people would really love to see that no one's talking about, like a damaged high voltage battery that almost caught fire. It's like, whoa, look at this. All unscripted, and you're just talking. And that drove our entire business. In 2 years' time, we do more in a month than over 90% of the repairs in the country do in a year. In 2 years. Wow. And that's all we did. Okay, so you say marketing, and there's a but. Okay, cool. What's help me? Thank you. What are the set of activities between those two? What is it that you actually do? Which are the value-added activities? Which are the non-value-added? Eliminate addition through subtraction. Eliminate the non-value-added activities. Prop up the value-added activities. So you want to put up billboards about electric vehicle repair for the early adopter? No. They don't care. That's
Right.
not who they're not looking up. They're on their phone in autopilot. But my point is, you can say anything you want. I'm always going to come back and go, what are the set of activities between help me and thank you? The mission's simple. Reduce the timeline by removing the non-value added activities.
It's amazing. Amazing.
Well, it's a lot of wisdom, very, very simply put. But it's not. Here's the challenge I get with being an early adopter is how do I take the stuff we've already learned, don't throw it out, and add in. I like new, interesting stuff. I went to NASA, watched them launch a space shuttle. Awesome, blown away, loved it. I'm more of a technical person, I suppose, but you got me thinking about our clients and how they are also very technical, which is probably why I'm doing the job I'm doing, because I connect with them on that level.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah.
I always think about it, John, from a standpoint of like understand, kind of getting in the head of a customer. I think that's one of the missions that I'm on is like when I bring on a new client and I think about, hey, I want you to share with me what are the problems and challenges. Like, let's get in the head of your customer. What are the problems and challenges that they face every single day that you are in the best position to help them solve? And then how can you provide them with that solution in the most simple way that's going to get them a result as quickly as possible? Because people want results. And I think that's something we talked about before we started here, John, was I think what a lot of people want to know is when they apply these principles and they apply exactly the I have a problem to thank you. How do you then when people want to know, like, if I implement this in my business, exactly what you're saying, John, what kind of results and outcomes can I expect? And if I don't get those results and outcomes, what is the feedback loop backwards to where I need to fix something internally, a constraint that I have inside of my business that's going to help me get that outcome?
Yeah. So a couple questions in that question. One is like, what kind of results? Radical improvement. And I can give you some real world examples of experiences. But in general, for example, in my business currently, if we just looked at net profitability, we'll look at a couple of metrics. Net profitability, traditional thinking service providers, net 3 to 5% EBITDA. In our business, our EBITDA's it's closer to 30. So, I mean, it's an order of magnitude different. So we're not talking, a little bump. We're talking radical improvement, orders of magnitude greater than the competition. It's not. Here's an example. When I first went to Norway to Oslo for Tesla, we were repairing on average about 14 Model S's a day in our biggest service center in Oslo, and we had a 72-day backlog to get an appointment in there. In 1 week, inside the first 5 days, we didn't spend one penny. We didn't add one resource, not one employee, not 1 hour of overtime, not 1 square foot of real estate. We went from about 14 cars a day to about 65.
Wow.
In 5 days, it's really less than, in about 3.5 days. Not only, so orders of magnitude improvement in throughput, but radical improvements in quality. So kind of one of the interesting things that was happening at that point was because of their compensation plan, they were incentivizing the wrong behaviors. They were bonused on how many repair orders you could close per day, right? Close more repair orders, boom, I'll give you some more money, which someone somewhere, probably an accountant, believed. Sorry, Chad.
No, it's good. It's true,
Believed,
right?
Yeah, because the calculator said so.
Right.
Yeah, if you just close more repair orders, we'll fix more cars. Well, what's the easiest way to close a repair order? It was this: no problem found. So there you go. Could not find the condition the customer closed. Right. We eliminated that. Like within the first 5 days, we eliminated. All I said was, listen, there is no such thing as no problem found. If anyone really feels like they can't find it, I'm here. Come grab me and I'll sign off on no problem found. But so not only radical improvement in throughput, radical improvement in quality, radical improvement in speed, cost, quality, and speed. For example, some of the madness there was help me to thank you, right? Customer had a problem with a Model S. They would call into a sort of centralized service center, and they would report what was wrong. It was someone who in a call center somewhere, really had no idea. And so, but they were trained to go, hey, isolate that problem to one of these condition codes. What is it? And what's the concern code? And those concern codes were tied to engineers. They're the ones who developed them. So if you're the engineer in charge of the speed the window goes up and down, all I want to hear are complaints about speed of window going up and down. So I'm going to create a concern code around window speed going up and down. Now you got somebody sitting somewhere in the middle of Europe, knows nothing about cars, and the customer says, there's a rattle in my window when it goes up and down, and they're scrolling through a list. I think we had 6,000 concern codes because every engineer wanted their own. And they're like, window up and down, boom, that one, cool, thanks. A week before the appointment or so, someone else, a service advisor, would call and go, okay, you're coming in on Tuesday. We understand you have a window speed issue. They're like, no, not a window speed. Like maybe, but it makes this funny. No, oh, sorry. They'll pick a different concern code. Now the customer, the day before, the concierge would call, hey, calling to confirm you're coming in for a window noise, air gap in your window. What? No, no, that wasn't it at all. And so think about that. The money spent, the minutes on the phone, the aggravation from the going, what are you guys doing? Like, who's in charge? The crazy aggravation, money spent, time wasted. You know what we did as soon as I got there? I said, no more of that. Here's what we're going to do. Give me our very best diagnostic technicians. Come with me. We're going to stand in the parking lot. Just schedule cars every day. Schedule 20. Doesn't matter what they say. Just schedule 20. And customer, pull up into the parking lot. Don't even get out of your car. Roll your window down. I'm going to put my best technician right in your face and go, hey, how are you? Tell me what's going on. This thing, that thing. Done. We literally cut out 2 weeks worth of work in one move by simply not doing it anymore at all. And just going from customers' lips to technicians' ears. We're done. That's it. We're done. And imagine, by the way, in that earlier scenario, based on that bad information, we would order parts, fly them from California to Oslo, deliver those parts, put them in a warehouse somewhere, stock. They're not the parts we needed. By the way, someone somewhere else in the world needed those parts, but we had them. So unbelievable amount of cost associated with all that dumb shit. Sorry.
It's all right.
But just stupid. So customers' lips, technicians' ears, and then that tech would go, if they could fix the car on the spot, they'd hop in the passenger seat, don't move. They'd go right into them, pointing to my MCU here. A lot of the repairs on these vehicles you can do right through the firmware. You can do right from the touchscreen. They'd make those repairs. Thanks, send them on their way. Otherwise, we broke the work into very simple entry-level technician stuff, and we called that category 3 work. And we created these little lanes. And we said, that's a Cat 3 job, send it to Cat 3. The technician who knew what was wrong with the car would tell the service advisor the opposite. It was the opposite of the plan. They would tell the service advisor, here's what's wrong with the car, write it up. Service advisor, you go to the parts department and you get those parts and bring them over to this technician. We're going to fix this car right away, right? Because if you were to follow the prior process, it was stupid, just stupid. And so the point is, what problem are we trying to solve? You mentioned a little bit, like every meeting I've ever had everywhere, and Chad probably remembers, but on the whiteboard, when we sit down, every time I'm writing on the whiteboard, what problem are we trying to solve? People would say things like, oh, we just, needed to have a one-on-one or a quick catch. No, you're adding money, you're adding cost to this business. If you text me, find me on the factory floor. Come, I'll walk with you. But yeah, I'm glad to talk, but I'm not going to take an hour or 3 out of my day to sit and catch up with you. What problem are we trying to solve? So what's critical is, what you were mentioning before is these sort of generic solutions. And in my experience, every business I've ever worked with suffers from the same problem. Everyone. And the problem is that they don't know what the problem is. That's it. That's it. We just don't know and so they deploy massive amount of resources on the wrong thing because they don't understand what the problem is. So, and here's what I've learned, by the way, is a lot of people just want to go directly to the customer and say, hey man, tell me what your problem is. I want to build a solution. And the truth is, and you can read Deming a lot and you'll see this, the customer has no idea. No, the customer can probably tell you what they hate, but if the customer knew the problem or the solution, they probably wouldn't be talking to you. So to me, it's sort of pointless. You can't ask the customer what's the problem. And so you could take your business, Chad, in this example and say, what problem are we trying to solve? This is where the word is innovation, right? Customers don't know what the problem is. But when they see the solution, they go, oh God, I want that. I had no idea I had this problem, but now that I see that solution, I absolutely want it. The iPhone is a great example. I don't know how your age, but I recall it was June of 2007, June 13th, maybe, when iPhone was released. And I had no idea, but I was in line. I was like the second day guy. And I got that thing and, it was expensive. And I'm looking at it going, man, this thing is awesome. I had no idea I needed an iPhone. I had no idea. But dear God, I need an iPhone. It's like, It didn't do much, but I'm like, it has these things called apps. They're sort of websites and they're sort of software. It's somewhere in the middle, right? Here's the point is, innovation is when you solve the problem that they didn't even really recognize that they had. But when they see your solution, everyone lines up for it, right? So don't go asking them what their problem is. They won't tell you. They don't really know. But certainly, if you get some feedback about, let's take this business, for example, to go, what's wrong? I'm worried I don't have enough money saved up to retire or to pay for college or that I'm putting it in the wrong place or I'm making mistakes with my career and so on and so on. Think about that to go, okay, what's really happening there, right? Is that the problem? They don't have enough money saved for college? Who knows? Yeah, maybe your kid Maybe your kid's going to be a welder and a really great welder and wants nothing to do with. It's not, do I have enough money saved up for college? What is it? It's something around, I have anxiety around something in the future and it bothers me, right? Oh, yeah. And so if you understand the root cause of what's really happening behind the scenes, then you can create a solution around the root cause. And that's called innovation. That's where people, blow everybody away because they like, wow, they came up with a really clever, yeah, maybe, but all they really did was said, what problem are we actually trying to solve here? What are we actually trying to solve? And so, which is all a part of marketing, to go, look, now, are you out there to sell them insurance or sell them a wealth management program? Or hell no. Like, no one wants that shit. They want,
yeah, that's true.
yeah, no, they want something. They want the stress, the anxiety, the pressure. They want confidence. Like in our business, what do we sell? Quality collision repair, quality automotive service? No, we sell confidence that they've made the right choice, and that we're going to be there. We can screw up and make mistakes. They'll forgive us every single time because that's not what they bought. They bought from us the confidence that they're in the right place. It's like, oh, I got the right guy. This organization is going to fix this thing.
Hey, John, can I ask you a question on that?
Yeah.
Let's create a scenario. Let's make it selfishly. I'm going to make it real because this happened to me yesterday.
Yeah.
A prospect came to me and said, hey, I've been consuming your content and I love your message. I think you're spot on. I specialize in helping folks in the insurance industry specialize and become a category of one, become so dominant in their space because they have the expertise and the knowledge and people can then build confidence around, hey, these are the go-to guys in this industry. Chad's one of them. Chad is, I would say, world-class in the RIA space, but specifically solving insurance and risk management problems for clients to give them confidence, control, and clarity. So I had a prospect come to me yesterday and I said, what I'm hearing you say is it's probably not the right question to say, hey, what problem are we solving here today? Because based on what you just said is maybe they don't even really understand what the root cause of the problem is. They only know what their pain is in the moment. Like, hey, I want to do this. I saw your content. I'd like to do the things that you're sharing, that you're doing what you're doing for other people, but maybe that person doesn't really understand what the problem is. But I'm asking them what the problem is, and they're saying, well, hey, I want to do this thing, but is that really the problem? Is that really the pain point? So how would you approach a situation where you want to get so crystal clear on what that specific prospect or future customer is looking for to take them from help me to thank you? Because I'm going to start using that. I'm sorry. I'm actually going to steal your thing where help me, thank you. And how do you uncover the true pain that is going to help you increase that conversion? And they go, holy shit, I want what you have. I want that solution.
Yeah, it's not that complex, right? If you just go, what does help me? Tell me. Thank you. Okay. Thank you is the resolution, right? It's not about buying a financial product or something, right? It's knowing that, look, they're coming. If you're in the services business, they need help. It could be, a resort in Jamaica. All right, I need help. My life sucks. I got to get away from work. I just want to chill and be waited on. Okay, like the problem in their life is, man, life sucks right now, and I need something to take this pressure off, right? And so for me, if somebody was to show, well, Obviously, there's a lot of work to do to design around innovation to design the product that they want. But you certainly have to begin with that idea of what problem are we trying to solve, but also knowing that you just can't ask that question. You could certainly go, tell me what's on your mind. Like, why are you here, man? What is it? Like, you got to really find that emotional event. There's some emotional event happening, and you got to find out what it is. There may be even something behind that, and something behind that, and something behind that. It's those who, if you offer a solution to a problem that really isn't a problem, well, then they just wasted their money. And so it's always about that digging very deeply to understand, what is it? I'll be like fully transparent. I don't do any of this wealth management stuff. I manage my own money. I'm not interested. I'm not. And why? Why do you think that is?
I would bet because you know how to generate the basis of the wealth, or you know how to go out there and fix problems. That's what you do. And people value it so much, they're going to come to John and say, John, I need your help over here. And you love to do it. So it's not hard for you to do. And it's fun and interesting. And it just works for you.
Yeah. Right. So why do I not spend my money on financial services? Is because I'm not worried about it. Like, hey, if I want to go make $5 million over the next 2 years, okay, I'm just going to go do that. I know what to do. So I don't have that problem, right? And so if you're trying to sell me something, it's like, listen, man, like it would be trying to sell me hair products or like, look, there's not much happening. I don't have that problem. There's nothing you can. So it is always going to be about understanding, what's really happening. Another example, I don't think I've ever applied for a job ever. Like maybe when I was 16, it's always just people have hit me up and saying, hey, we need your help. We need your help. And just these opportunities. I've never worried about losing a job, but I've worked with plenty of people that you can see the fear. Like when there's something goes wrong, I'm like, what's the matter, man? Like, oh, we may get fired. I'm going, no, like, does that?
I was fired once. You know that, John?
Yeah, that's right. I was there.
Yeah, I know. It's funny. So I apologize, guys. I gotta pivot.
We gotta do a part 2 at some point. I think. I'm fascinated.
Well, I got a problem. I got a call coming up I got to get to. But here's the thing. John, one of the things I know him for is teaching me about a ghetto scan. Okay. You snap the documents, and that was a callback. Only John and I would know about that. But I imagine that's not what you want to be known for, John.
Yeah.
And when you're sitting out there on the beach, on the porch of your house, or in Jamaica or wherever you like, I would love to get a little bit of insight of what do you want to be known for?
I think it's pretty simple. I want to be known for truly interested and solely focused on excellence. Not money, not any of that other crap, but excellence. And excellence really through quality. I love that idea of being excellent in everything, mastery of everything you do. There's nothing more rewarding than excellence and mastery. And by the way, all of those wonderful things are byproducts, and it's like, look, if you focus on the byproducts, good luck. Just focus on excellence. And so I want to be known for that idea, but not just that idea, that there's no bullshit in that. Like, he's sincere. He does not care about anything other than excellence. And I love to pass the knowledge on. There's nothing more, intrinsically rewarding than sharing this gift that was given to me, is sharing that gift and watch somebody else latch onto it, and the light bulb goes off and it changes their life, right? If you can change their life a little bit, it can improve the lives of their families. And if they can do that, then they can improve the lives of their communities, and then ultimately the world. Like, this does not have to be I win, you lose in every business transaction. It doesn't have to be that idea of winners and losers. The truth is, everyone can win. Every single person can win if we stop thinking in the wrong way and start just thinking about this idea of excellence. There's no downside to it. I want to be known as the guy that drove that idea hard for his entire life.
Wow.
That's awesome. And I gotta follow that up with what you taught me, John. How it affected me and my family is my son. He's in the middle of getting through college. He's going to get through college. He's going to get that education. He's going to do something interesting with it, and he won't have any debt.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's an outcome of what you helped me teach what you taught me, how to apply some of the stuff I thought I knew, but I was way overthinking it, and just driving down excellence. I bet that this conversation will hit some people, and hopefully it'll help them think a little deeper. So thank you.
Right. Yeah, that's
Wow.
right. Yeah.
Well, thank you, John. We are all so grateful. I think this is how there's those moments in life and business where there's those defining moments and those people that you meet in business.
Yeah.
It has been an honor and a blessing to have this hour with you. And I think this is a real defining moment for me too, because I'm a systems guy. I'm all about excellence and mastery. In fact, you don't even know this, but I posted yesterday. So Robert Greene wrote the book Mastery, and it had such a profound impact on me that I actually wrote about it yesterday in a post with a picture of Robert Greene's book called Mastery, because I really believe that's the secret in business is to truly develop mastery and excellence, like you just said. And so I'm so grateful to hear that I feel a little validated here today. So I'm on the right path. So John, thank you so much. We're honored and grateful to have you on. If anyone is looking to reach out to you and connect with you, how can they best reach you?
I can give you my email address is really the best way. It's jgsweigart@gmail.com is just my personal email. And absolutely, I'd love to help. If anyone needs help with any of these thinking, just anything at all, always glad to help and genuinely do love to help others.
Awesome. And I'll put all the links in the show notes to reach out to you, John. And guys, what an episode. Like, I'm speechless. So I don't even know.
Now you know why I'm excited to have John on.
Yeah. I don't even know how to end this. All I'm going to say is, guys, be on the lookout for probably part 2 with John. And John, thank you again for being on. And guys, looking forward to the next episode of the Advisor's Edge podcast. Stay tuned for more incredible guests just like John.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.